Good evening again. It's Kathy Swicker, the president of Gamechangers Atlantic Rotary. Before we continue on with the program for the evening, we'll have our foundation moment, which tonight is a Polio Plus moment. It's no secret that global programs like Global Polio Eradication Initiative are facing unprecedented funded challenges and changing government priorities, rising rates of vaccine hesitancy, and the spread of misinformation. Rotary members continue to care about polio eradication and World Polio Day because years ago, Rotary made a promise to the children of the world that no child would suffer the consequences of vaccine preventable diseases. Our club will be involved in raising awareness and fundraising by hosting Pints for Polio, where patrons will get a burger platter and a pint at a local pub for a great price while contributing to this great cause. The funds we raise will be matched 2-to-1 by the Gates Foundation. Throughout our collective voices and actions across the world, on the 24th of October, we can maintain our momentum towards fulfilling our Rotary promise that no child will suffer from vaccination preventable diseases. I will now turn back to Anne Marie, who will introduce our guest speaker for the evening.
It is my pleasure and honor to welcome Tammy Vallieres as our guest speaker, all the way from Woodstock, Ontario. I met Tammy in 2017 in Ontario, and as soon as we met, we recognized each other as soul sisters and friends for eternity. We had both written a chapter for a book called Dreaming Big, Being Bold. And I can testify here tonight to all of you that Tammy lives up to that title. She dreams big and she is bold. One of her bold dreams became reality when she launched her latest book in New Brunswick in July. Her book is called Harmony, Hare, and Her Three Voices. We will hear about the book tonight and how it relates to one of Rotary's focus on peace and conflict resolution. Tammy is a brilliant master kindergarten teacher with a background in psychology. And from the back of her book, I will read, with over 25 years in the classroom and a heart that beats for kids, Tammy created the Hero Intelligence Education to help children navigate big emotions, tricky thoughts, and the inner dialogue that shapes their lives. She believes every child has a hero within. Sometimes they just need a little help hearing it. Let's welcome, in a warm fashion, Tammy Vallieres. Woo!
Wow. That was so beautiful, and thank you for bringing the calm, Anne-Marie, with your beautiful meditation for us to focus on. And I feel so honored to be here. Thank you, Kathy, for the invitation. I just, again, the faces around here just light me up, and I just feel honored to be in this community and in your presence. So thank you, and that was just beautiful. And yes, Anne-Marie and I had met several years ago, and it was an instant connection. And then Kathy and I met again very quickly, instant connection. And the ladies here that have joined me again, these instant connections, which I feel like when we meet heart to heart, you just know there's a really beautiful synergy that lights us up inside. So thank you guys for having me. So I will share my presentation. I put together a PowerPoint presentation. I'm a visual spatial learner. So just like children, hopefully you guys will enjoy the visuals and can read along with me and enjoy the book. So, oh, let's see where it went. Here we go. Right. Can everybody see it?
Not yet. There now.
Okay, great. Okay, so this is my little character. I'm a little artistic with a little hero cape on the back. So the presentation is called Grow Your Hero Presentation, Harmony, Hare, and Peace Education Vision. And honored to be doing this with the Rotary Gamechangers Atlantic, presented by myself, Tammy Vallieres. So a little bit about me. I call myself the Hero Intelligence Teacher. And one of my superpowers is seeing the hero in everyone, especially with the little kiddos that I work with every single day. And what I've learned the most is when you expect the best from children or even adults, the best is what shows up. So when I greet my students and I say, the hero in me sees the hero in you, and everybody goes, wow, how come your classroom is like a utopiary world and they're so incredible? I said, because they're all little heroes in the classroom and that's who shows up. So my passion is helping all of them become the best that they can be. And the way I do that is through storytelling. And I don't know if you know this fact, but when you learn something through a story, you retain and you remember 90 to 95%. But if you were to hear it in a fact or through information, you only retain about 10 to 15%. So that was one of the biggest factors why everything I teach, whether it was math or art or science, I always start with a story, because learners like me, who are the big picture visual learners, it helps them really understand and glue the information. And one of the issues that I had is in school, I struggled through school. So I was labeled a learning disabled child. And I wasn't learning disabled. I learned differently. Today, we would say dyslexic. And one of the big things is because I need to see all the moving parts. I need to see how everything works together before I start learning the individual parts. And most teachers don't teach the big picture. So this is one of the reasons why I call it my pain to purpose, is to help reimagine education. So the welcome and introduction, Harmony, Hare, and Raising Empowered Kids is a global peace education movement. What we're doing is my joint venture, my company is called Raising Empowered Kids. We are a joint venture. Sylvia Tam is my business partner. So she is all about a mompreneur raising 3 kidpreneurs. So we focus on home. I'm the teacher. So I've been teaching over 25 years in the industry, psych degree. And then career is my business partners, Adam and Matthew Torn, who've been in the business world since they've been 7 and 8 years old. And their mom, Deborah Torn, is here with us today. So really exciting to be here. But we get to go from home to school to career, which is the natural progression of how we grow and expand and where we should be connecting and creating a common language. So every child has 3 voices inside of us, as well as adults: the victim, the villain, and the hero. And if you've ever wondered, you know, we've been able to see that through Disney, right? We know who the villains are, and we know in our own self-talk when we have that little voice that says, I can't, or that voice inside that says, I won't, or who are they, right? That chatter is always happening in our minds, and it's normal. But a lot of times we don't normalize that. So this is one of the things that we're going to be talking about. And so collectively with Raising Empowered Kids, our mission is to help every child grow into their hero and hear and focus in on their hero voice. So very blessed to have those incredible business partners. So the story, this is the little storybook. It's called Harmony, Hare, and Her 3 Voices. And I did it in a way that is very calm and very beautiful. to bring the calm, whether you're reading it in bed or in the classroom or anywhere, it just invokes that calmness. So why this book matters? Because self-talk is the #1 influence on our identity, resilience, and in peace. And at the back of the book, it says the most important voice your child will ever hear is their own. So even if you're speaking to a child and you're trying to, or an adult is, think about somebody who has an eating disorder, even if you're telling them how beautiful they are, it won't matter, because whatever voice they're telling and speaking to themselves is going to impact them the greatest. So yes, our mentors, our friends, our parents, they all have an influence on us, but at the end of the day, it's our self-talk that impacts us the greatest. So this is why we really want to help children at the youngest of ages, instead of corrective measures, once that pattern, that identity, that voice becomes a constant, we want to start at the very beginning when they actually start to develop their self-talk. And I don't know if any of you guys know when that self-talk is formed in the mind of a child, but it's as young as 4 and 5 years old. So if we're not addressing it, we're not talking about it, we're not creating awareness to it, a child will go into their default voice, which can often feel like, sorry for themselves and poor me, and I can't. And many of you might identify more with that victim voice, that when you were a child, that was me. I wasn't as much of an aggressor, so I wouldn't have been more the bully, but I definitely was more the victim. And that self-talk ran in my head, especially when other people labeled me as learning disabled. I started to hear that and repeat that for myself. So again, had I had a mentor, a teacher, or somebody who spoke to me differently, again, how we influence children, right? When we call them, oh, you're always misbehaving, you never listen. What voice and what identity are we growing in those children? So we have to be really mindful of what we say impacts them greatly and builds an identity. So before we start, we don't even have to do this grounding exercise, because Anne-Marie did the most beautiful grounding exercise and really helped to ease my calm before we started, and I had to do this presentation, because nobody loves to do these, right? They can sometimes be a little bit nerve-wracking, but that calm that she did really helped to ground me, and that's why I start Kindergarten Masterclass with my bell. And we do 5 deep belly breaths. So one thing I do is I will ring the bell and I'll tell the children, right, before we enter into the classroom, we want to enter with a peaceful and happy heart, because our energy is contagious. So if we are angry, we will bring that anger into our community, into our space. If we are sad, that energy will come with us. So what we want to invite children to do into our homes is create a safe space where everybody feels calm. So that helps them to be ready to listen, to learn, and to become little leaders that I know that they can be. So we'll take that deep breath. I'll get them to put their hand on their heart and on their belly or their gut, and we take deep breaths. And we just ground. So I love that that's already built into Gamechangers Rotary, and that's a beautiful way to start. So the hero message is that every child is born perfect. Perfect, we come into the world perfect. So we come as our hero, and then we start to take on these social masks. We become that child that's scared to do things. Oh, that child never loves to do things. You're always scared. You never want to try anything. You always like to sit at home, and we start to build this mask, and that's who they become, or they think they become. They are who they are, is we help to program that, unfortunately. Or the bully, right? Oh, you're a troublemaker. Oh, you never listen. You never want to do what you're told. And we create these masks, and these children take on that identity. So we want to really, truly teach them that they are born perfect, whole, complete, and all-knowing. And that's the truth of who they are, and always help them come back to that center, to come back to that truth, right? And remind them that there's a magic inside of them. So Grow Your Hero is all about how do we step into that hero. So inside every child, neurodivergent, which is like me, or neurotypical, which is maybe the left brain learners, and the neurodivergent is learning differently, right, than the traditional school system, lives 3 voices. We all have a victim voice. We've all heard it. We talk to ourselves in it. The villain voice that says, I won't do this. The victim, I can't do this. But there's also a third voice that I remind all my students, I can do this, or I can't do it yet. And invite them to become an I can do it community. So we go in with a positive attitude and they encourage each other. So even if they end up speaking and hearing each other say, I can't do this, another one will come by very shortly and say, yes, you can. We're an I can do it community. So they have the language, they have the tools, and they have the resources. And they're like my little EAs, my little assistants. I don't even have to speak it anymore because they have all the resources and the language to support one another, which makes my job super easy. I always say, you know, when we go to the gym, it's tea time because I don't have a big job to do. So all learners learn best with a story, which we talked about, no matter who you are, verbal or nonverbal. Growing your hero means helping children recognize their primary voices, and I've done them into 3 colors as well. So your 3 primary voices are also the 3 primary colors. So blue is victim. You think I'm feeling very blue today. Villain is red, you're seeing red, and yellow is golden. So, right, like the sun or like joy when you think that happy face. So this also helps them regulate their nervous system, helps them reframe their thoughts, getting them to pause, ponder, and plan, or reflect. What could I have done differently? What could I do in the future, right? So that they're making better choices, which is going to help them step into growing that hero identity. And then respond with courage and calm. So even the teacher, if the teacher's stressed out, strung out, I'll say to the teachers, I think we need to go over there in that chill chair and take a deep breath and then go and talk to that child. Because if we come in our villain, angry voice, we are going to create a tsunami. We're going to create that energy that magnifies that we don't want, right? And we're going to it's going to become a battle. So these are the strategies that both parents and teachers and educators can learn as well. And now they have a voice and a book to help do that. So stories stick, right? So they normalize self-talk without shame. So when you're talking about this bunny, we are not emotionally charged. We're not talking about you never listen, or that's your villain voice. We're not pointing the finger at a child. We can use this little animal, this little character, and we can talk, oh, look at Harmony, right? She was not in her very best self. She was kind of being mean over here, or she wasn't using the kindest words. I wonder what she could have said that could have been different. So now the teacher, the parent is on the same side, and we're both trying to solve Harmony's situation and bring her back into head, heart, hands harmony. So that really now the parent and the teacher aren't on opposition, but they're on the same side. And this little book helps to do this. So that's what's really helpful. So it's a really effective book for SEL, which is social emotional learning skills, building self-awareness. Well, if I'm not even realizing that I have these little voices talking to me, influencing me on all my choices and decisions, I can't self-regulate. I can't choose a better thought. And we can choose a different thought in a moment. So if you can see here, even before I go into the book, you'll see that these little butterflies represent her 3 thoughts. And butterflies also represent transformation. So at any moment, we can transform our thought. And so she can choose which one, is going to make her life better, right? The golden butterfly thought, the positive, I can do it thought. Worse is, you're going to make things worse by just getting more angry or breaking or smashing your toys. Or the stain, right, is the blue. So you feel helpless, you feel stuck. So this gives children and adults a tool, a bridge, and a language to be able to express this stuff. So a story bypasses resilience, activates resistance, and activates resilience, relevance. It makes it relevant to the child. So now you're making things relatable, and they can understand it. So it reaches all ages. and it supports the mind with making meaning out of it. The heart, it helps to build empathy, because now you can say, you know what, we all have these voices inside of us. And it's not just some people that are the villain and some people that are the hero. Just like Disney a lot of times, or storybooks will do, make the protagonist or the antagonist. Well, that's not true. We've all been, sometimes the bully. We've all been the victim, and we've all been the hero at different times. So this creates a unity that brings us all together. We're all human. So yes, of course, we're going to have all these feelings the same way we have thoughts. So this is what I love, is it brings us together as one. It allows every child to say, I see myself in this. I belong in this. I can grow from this.
Tammy, we are at the halfway mark.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you. A good story doesn't just teach content, it transforms identities. So that's a really important thing. So making the connection. Self-talk is more than just words in our head. It's the stories we tell ourselves every single day. So if I keep telling myself I can't do this, or this is going to be hard, or this isn't ever going to go my way, that's a self-fulfilling prophecy. That is going to, what we think about, feel about, we attract about. We're going to believe that. We're going to find the results to make that true. So we have to be very careful that these stories we're telling ourselves are also shaping how we see ourselves, how we face challenges, and who we believe we can become. So why is self-talk so powerful? Self-talk is the inner dialogue running through a child's mind all day long. Ourselves, our own dialogue all day long. It shapes how they see themselves, how they respond to challenges, and how they move through the world. And that impacts their relationships, their academics, their sports, their career, their relationships with friends and family, everything that they do. So we have to be really cognizant that this one topic, this one area is impacting absolutely all areas of their life for their whole duration of their life. It should be our number one that we are focused on and developing, because it has the dominoes and rippling effect of everything. So for all learners, it can feel either overwhelming, self-critical, confusing. And if we're talking positively to ourselves, it can be empowering, encouraging, and confidence building. So which one do we want to grow? Which one do we want to support children around? So why it's a superpower? Because once a child learns this, they have an inner world, that their inner world is shaping their outer world experiences. They can choose their response, and they can reframe it and redevelop it. Even as adults, we can go back and do this. So they no longer have to be a passive receiver of life. They become an active, empowered whole learner, and that is ultimately their superpower. So this is little Harmony Hare. I'm not going to spend too much time because Kathy and I have talked. We're going to come back and we're going to be able to share this little story with you guys at a later time. But Harmony is a highly sensitive little rabbit. She experiences the world deeply and doesn't always understand her thoughts and strong reactions. So she gets herself into different situations. And this is her little tree house, which is a peaceful place, but she can't find peace because she's got these battles happening in her mind. How many of us have gone on vacation and we can't leave our work at home, or we can't leave that argument back at the office? We're bringing it home, we're bringing it into our vacation, and this is robbing us of our peace. And if we're not in a peaceful place, everybody who meets us will feel that. And so we're bringing either our calm or our chaos everywhere we go. Just remember that. So there's her little tool. She's a little toy maker. She loves to make toys. And that's sometimes how she escapes her worries, is through her purpose and her passion. And there's her little voices. And there she is, this beautiful little bunny. She goes through a little rabbit hole, which we've all gone through sometimes. And can we get back out? And there she is. She's just spinning out of control. And where is she going to end up? She ends up at a little meadow, and she meets two friendly faces, Gilda the goose and Morris the mouse. And they're her little hero helpers. And they're guiding her through these 3 doors. And these 3 doors are kind of scary. They're uncertain, they're unknown. And it's the victim's world. What does that look like, sound like, feel like, act like when she goes through that world? And then there's villain's world. And this is where you could have children actually go through a full immersive experience where they're imagining what that is like. You dim the lights and you put on, some of these experiences where children could say, I don't like this. This feels heavy to me. And so does the victim's world. But look at what happens when we go through the full immersive of the hero's world. It's so bright and so happy and cheerful. And I feel light, really light inside. And I like that feeling. So why Game Changers and why now? So why has Kathy invited me here? Why is Anne-Marie so passionate about this? Because Rotary's education, literacy, and peace pillar are aligned with Hero Intelligence and the work that we're doing. A shared vision from local classrooms to peace parks to possibly global communities and international impact. Just imagine if all of us were teaching this at home, in schools, in communities, and had a way, like Rotary already has the pathways, to connect us on a global scale. So just imagine if we were all in our 8 billion heroes around the world and we had one call to action. We just picked up one rock or one piece of garbage, and we, in one moment, one item, we could transform the world with 8 pieces of garbage picked up and cleaned up. So the whole concept is when we work together in communication, collaboration, and contribution. So that's why we love Rotary so much, because Rotary is connected all around the world. And how can we create peace? Well, peace first has to start within ourselves. So peace within ourselves, then with others, our relationship, then with community, then within the world. But it has to happen one step at a time and be connected to the larger. So how do we get started? Well, Anne-Marie has been talking to me, and what we've been looking at is possibly starting in New Brunswick with 3 potential schools where Anne-Marie would be an advocate, because she's just incredible. She's got the background, the language, the connections, the experience with education and literacy, and delivering these peace packs. And inside these peace packs could be a backpack, it could be a gift box, a gift basket, or a gift bag. So any of these things would be inside, and we would be able to teach children and adults how to use this peace pack with the book and bring more peace into their classrooms, even maybe do an outdoor classroom where it becomes an immersive garden where children can learn. Am I planting weeds of worry, or am I planting seeds of inspiration? And children can bring this experience into dramatic play and fun and incredible ways. And I have a little wooden door that I say, before we enter this door, before we come through this door, we want to go through the golden door, and we want to enter with a peaceful and happy heart. So all our children come in that calm and peaceful place to create the safe space. So they would have a mirror that our inner world creates our outer world, and they would have this the color wheel that has the popsicle sticks that shows you your primary voices, which is red, yellow, and blue. And the secondary voices are people like our parents, our teachers, our guides. And so this would all be supported with PDFs, a little lighthouse to always remind us to come back to the truth of who we are, which is our hero voice, which is our head, heart, hands harmony. That's when our body is healthy too, when we feel our best, right? That's where naturally we want to be. So there could be like a little PowerPoint and licensing note into schools, and then connect maybe even to the peace parks. Once they learn how to do this in their classroom and in their homes, maybe children could come to the peace parks and gather in communication, like storybook gardens and things like that, where they can now extend their community with each other. How magical would that be with the little characters? So peace pack in action, teachers introducing the doors and the voices, and then how to use it. Anne-Marie being one of the biggest advocates for us there. And Kathy's very well versed in education and all these wonderful things. And because you have these beautiful ladies in your community, that's why we thought, wow, what a strong trio all 3 of us could do in launching this in that location. So looking at Rotary partnerships, maybe bringing it into learning outdoors, storybook walks. You guys could pick and choose maybe what would be a really fun way to do it. Harmony Hare picnic days, even Earth Day cleanup, where we invite the classes or the schools involved in this to start showing how they give back as little heroes, right? To take care of these places. So I've been able to connect with page turners once upon a time. So Jill's on the call here with us, but Jill and I are working and talking together. She's got a library of all these amazing SEL books and resources in videos in the most magical and creative ways. So even looking at developing partnerships where if we decide to do something like this collectively, we have the partners and the relationships that want to bring more of these social emotional learning experiences together in collaboration and community. So lots of different opportunities happening there. And so Jill is the founder of Page Turner Adventures and PBS Partnership, Storytelling, Page, Stage, and Screen. So her work is all about storybooks, live shows, digital TV specials, and international reach. And so if we could access that, that would be huge for us, right? So these kind of partnerships is what we're looking to do. And then we have the first pilot, which is our very own Anne-Marie, to implement it into starting it in New Brunswick, Ontario, Canada. She's been working with me for many years. We understand the language together, so we could create the roadmaps in the schools for Rotary Parks and looking at library resources in different languages and even having Harmony Hare translated in the French Canadian. So that's one of the things that we're looking and excited to do as well. So a call to action, how Gamechangers can partner, maybe sponsor a peace pack for local schools. Anne-Marie's taken on that initiative, which is really incredible. Adopt a Peace Park Storybook Initiative project, join global partners in peace education and advocacy, and maybe even bring Harmony Hare to 1 million children. Like that would be a dreaming big, being bold. Just like Anne-Marie talked about in that book that we co-authored together. And then a call to action is Harmony Hare Storybook with Harmony Hare. The full version is going to be, we're going to come and actually read this at the Rotary this October, where you get to hear the whole story and even what happens at the end of it. So that's what we've got following this as well. And then in closing, a blessing. So when you enter the door, the golden door, Harmony Hare's blessing with her golden key, the key to our success. Peace begins with each child. When we grow our hero voices, we grow peace in the world because peace begins with me. So that's the opportunity. And there's an opportunity too. We're running something really cool and fun right now. If you go to our website, raisingempoweredkids.com, you can see that there's a free download where if you want to jump on board and start to play and have fun with this, you could download the Peace Quest and take pictures and have some of the tools and activities in the free PDF that we're offering. Take pictures. Harmony's hopping in all different parts of the world. I think we're in 4 different countries and I don't know how many different locations around the world, but everybody's having so much fun with her. And so it's a really cool opportunity for you guys to just test out the waters and see if you like this, and for everybody to jump in at the same time. So that's everything. And I can take myself off of share. And if anybody wants to ask questions or things like that, that would be great. Or if you want to have some comments.
Tammy, you did it. You did it in the proper time frame. Yay!
Oh, yeah. Time frame. That's so.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Tammy, for your wisdom and the time that you're spending with us, educating us on ways to become more peaceful ourselves, but also how can we serve at that level with our children, because they're our leaders. They are our leaders now. Because as Tammy has expressed, as they become these peaceful leaders, they will continue and lead us to a world of peace. I'm guessing that each one of us could relate in some ways to what Tammy was saying, And this, we will take the next few minutes. If you would have any comments or questions that Tammy presented tonight, we have an opportunity to do that for the next 8 to 10 minutes. So how we will do that, you can raise your hand and then I'll ask the person to unmute and then Tammy can take it from there. So who's willing to go first? Okay, Jill, you go.
I'll go. Sure. Hi, Tammy. That was beautiful, and thank you for mentioning our collaboration. I'm very excited about that. And um, I love hearing about your experience as a teacher in the classroom and how you incorporate this work. How would you suggest teachers and people working with children on a day-to-day basis use the book, use the resources? What suggestions would you have for that?
So if you go to the piece pack, that's it. Before they even come through the door, because a lot of times teachers are in the corrective measure. They let the children come in with no boundaries, no conditions, no expectations, and then they have to undo all of that once it gets out of control. So before we even come through that door, that's where there's a little golden door where the teacher sets the expectations. It's like a library. Before you even go into the library, you know what the expectation is. When you go into a church, you know what the expectation is. Where you go into any quiet place, you have the expectation. When you go into a stadium, you know it's going to be loud, right? So the whole thing is understanding, setting an expectation that this is a safe space. And especially for children to be able to learn and grow and make mistakes, you have to create the safe space, and you have to be mindful of the energy that they're bringing. Because when we're in anger and sadness, we're not learning. We're not. So that's the whole point, is that you want children to get into that place where they're ready to learn. And Maslow will talk about that. Our basic needs have to be met first, or we're not going to be learning. So if a child's really angry, allow that child to express their anger one-on-one with some mentorship. And then when they calm down, then it's a safe space for everybody. But if I bring my anger into that space, now everybody is playing off of it. Whether a parent comes home and they're angry, everybody's impacted. So the very first step is the intention. Set the intention, and that's why I call it beaver boundaries. So we are all coming in and we're self-regulating before we start. So having those spaces and what to do is vital. Thanks for the question. Being courageous, Jill. That's awesome.
Carol, you can go next. Carol, yeah, you want to unmute?
You're on mute, Carol. Do you know how to unmute yourself on the bottom? There you go. You got it.
Thank you.
Persistence, right, Carol?
That's different than we usually unmute when we use Zoom. Thanks for that. Thank you for your presentation. It's very excited about what your plans are. I'm just wondering about the logistics of taking this to a school district. Do you have to have permission from the school district, or is it up to the individual teacher to present this material?
So for me, I mean, have you ever heard of How to Fill a Bucket, or any book that a teacher brings into the classroom? The teacher gets to decide the materials and resources that they're bringing in. So a lot of us, like Elf on the Shelf, do we have to get permission on that? I've never seen people have to do that. So again, this is a social and emotional intelligence book. I would say the teacher needs to use discretion. One of the things that I think some parents or teachers might be a little concerned of is victim, villain, hero voice. But what I've said is that we have normalized that with Walt Disney. You could ask any child on the planet, who's the villain in Lion King? Who's the villain in 101 Dalmatians? So children know this language. It's not, you know, scary language. They understand it. And because we're not calling them this, the bunny is the little character that we get to talk about it. So again, it makes it a pretty safe way to create language and help them organize it in color. But again, if you wanted to use the little baby bunny, bully bunny, you could change the words, or angry bunny, sad bunny. You could alter that. Yes, sorry, Kathy.
Can I add to that, Tammy?
Yes, absolutely.
In New Brunswick, where we're starting off, we have two big school districts, the Francophone and the Anglophone school districts. And within each school district, there are 4 community school coordinators. And we've already been in touch with the Anglophone ones, and I think we're getting in touch with the Francophone ones. Anne-Marie's looking after that. And so we already have a foot in the door. The other thing is we are blessed, 2 of the Anglophone community school coordinators are also Interact leaders through Rotary. They lead an Interact group of 12 to 18-year-olds. And so we're all about peace education in Rotary. And so that the Interact clubs can adopt this program and work it through and present it to younger kids within their school system, within their school families, because there's feeder schools from elementary that come into our middle schools and then come into our high schools. So we sort of have a pathway for Harmony Hop Down right now.
Good. Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy. And this wraps it up, I believe, for Tammy's time, because we're going to move into our business section of our meeting. And I would like to bring your attention to one last thing. And Tammy, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And I'm happy to hear that we'll see you again in October. So all our guests on this call, for sure, you will be invited to come again in October. So in our September issue, Rotary issue, I went to the post office today and I literally jumped up the couch when I read the president's message on page 1. 3 words in bold: peace through education. How can this be so clear? Like, look at this: peace through education. Like, I have goosebumps everywhere. So I'll turn it over to Tammy, not Tammy, Kathy. And thank you, Tammy. It was wonderful. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Anne-Marie, I noticed that Carly had a question. She had her hand up and she wasn't able to ask that. So maybe Carly could ask her question now and you could just moderate that for her. And then if you'll turn it back to me.
Sure, I had not noticed. Okay, Carly, you may go.
Basically, I was going to ask, sort of, would there be sort of like games that a person can create if, say, a student may not be open to it at first? Like, I know I had to do with one of my elf students. One of them wasn't following the rules of the elf and doing the reading and whatnot. But then I thought, oh, I know this guy can like soccer. Maybe I can use that as a little bit of an open door, a foot in the door type of thing.
Absolutely, Carly. So here's the thing. I'm a kindergarten teacher. So So I have all the fun, and I have to do this regularly. So I teach 3 kindergarten master classes of 3 50-minute periods, and I do music, art, drama, dance, and storytelling, and all of this stuff, full immersive stuff with all game playing, all making it fun and theatrical. So of course there would be so many, and I have to teach kindergarten, so I literally feel like I'm a circus act up at the top. That's why Jill and I resonated so well, because you have to entertain and you have to persuade them in fun and engaging ways. So absolutely, and that's one of my superpowers. I'm really good at doing that.
Now I turn it back to Kathy.
Thank you so much. But what a wealth of ideas. And just like we're starting this big adventure right in the September part of the year. Our first meeting that we've had back with our speakers, well, our second one, because in August we had one of the students that had been to Adventures in Citizenship here in Ottawa in June come and speak. So we're all about education and literacy and peacemaking, and we're going to roll that all together as we go forward. I just want to tell the Rotarians and our guests of things that we've coming up for us in a couple of days. It's September 6th, and I'm going to be attending Peace and Friendship Alliance, which is our Grand Chief of the Wolastoqiyik of the Wabanaki people. Our Grand Chief has invited settlers and the Indigenous people together to talk about things that are falling out from our treaties from years ago, from hundreds of years ago. So we meet 4 or 5 times a year. And so I will be there representing Rotary and learning about the needs of the Indigenous communities in our area. And next week is in Fredericton area is the Harvest Festival. And we're going to have one night where we're going to go downtown and just as a group of people and have a good social time. And I hope that Amber, who is here from Moncton, is going to be here for the Harvest Festival, so she'll be able to join in. On the 13th, Canterbury, we were there to do a presentation for Allies Atlantic Interact, which is an Interact club that we're hoping to start for 12 to 18 years old online. We were there and did a presentation at their community school in the fall, and we hope to come back on September 13th, which is their Canterbury Days, and get to greet those students again and see if we can continue on the relationship and introduce maybe Harmony Hare to them in the year ahead and talk about maybe a peace garden or a peace pole planting. On October 4th and 5th, we have a Gamechangers will have a display at the New Brunswick Social Forum. It's a 2-day event talking about everything that affects the people of New Brunswick. And so we will be there with a display table. October 17th, the province is having, a province of New Brunswick is having a Women in Politics event. And again, Changemakers will have a booth there, a display table. And October the 23rd, we'll be in the Moncton area at the seniors event, a seniors expo, and supporting and promoting Gamechangers Rotary, and also Women Changemakers Toastmasters, because we have an alliance partnership with them. And then, of course, coming up on October the 2nd is our next speaker meeting. We have a follow-up meeting to this meeting 2 weeks from now, where we'll be discussing all that we've learned and trying to make some plans and put them in place. But on October 2nd will be our next speaker, and we're having Stella Roy, who's District 7815 End Polio Now champion or coordinator. And so she'll be coming to speak to us. And we're hoping on October the 24th to have Fredericton and Moncton's first Pints for Polio. So we're looking forward to that event, which will see a sort of a burger platter and a drink for a certain price, with the profits to go to Pints for Polio, and to go to our End Polio Now campaign. So that's what we've coming up. It's 7:54, so we have a few minutes. We would love if any guests would like to speak about their experience at our meeting here tonight. Anyone want to put their hand up, either physically or mechanically?
I'll say something. Thank you so much for allowing me to come here. A fantastic speaker. Thank you, Tammy. I was a K-12 Spanish teacher. Found it really difficult to have lots of different groups of kids coming into the classroom. And so like setting those norms where it's like, I don't care if your teacher has bad classroom management, this is a different space. It's a different vibe when you walk in this door. And you really have to set those. I taught high school and then taught K through 3. And so it was very interesting. Thank you so much for coming in. So yeah, I work for Rotary International, and so I've been popping around to a bunch of different clubs now, and it was very fantastic to see you all here, and I hope to be back sometime.
Well, we'd love for you to come back anytime. And Angela works for member engagement. Is that the division of Rotary International? And she headlines or looks after a particular part of North America. Would that be? So which district or whatever is?
There are 12 people who work as regional membership officers in the world, and they all have a zone, like a zone pair. And I serve zones 26 and 27 for Rotary, which is the West Coast United States, and a tiny bit of Canada, but not Alaska, but yes, Hawaii. So I've got that end of the earth.
And thank you so much for being here with us tonight. We really appreciate. And it came out of the blue, an invitation. You said, can I come and visit you? And I said, this is the week you need to come. This is the meeting you need to come. Do I have any other people that would like to have a little comment? Margaret?
Hi, thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here and partnering with Tammy as well. And to be honest, I have never come to a Rotary meeting before, and you are so aligned with everything my life has been about. Peace education. I've been an educator all my life as well. And also integrating the arts, experiential learning. I want to find out more about your Interact program. I think I might be able to help there as well. So I'm very excited to be here, and thank you for the invitation.
Well, welcome, and do come again. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Is there anyone else who would like to have to speak? Carol?
I'd just like to echo my thanks for the invitation tonight. Thank you, Anne Marie, for letting me know about it. And I'm so glad that you answered my question and mentioned the school coordinators. One of them is a member of my Rotary Club in Florenceville. And so I definitely will be chatting with her about the meeting tonight, and love to see this program move forward. And congratulations to your club. Just listening to all the things you're involved in the next month. You're a busy bunch of ladies.
And gentlemen, we have gentlemen. They're just not here tonight. We do present tonight as an all-female club. We want to make that sure that you know that we're a very diverse club.
Hey, Kathy, can I just say one more thing? With youth services, that's how I got involved in Rotary. 21 years ago, I was a youth exchange student and spent a year of high school in Denmark. And that year, the president of Rotary had said, if every single kid went on a youth exchange for a year, then there would be no more war, because you wound up being able to see people in different countries and understand different cultures. And Rotary sends about 9,000 kids a year on youth exchange, and they're hosted by clubs and they're sent by clubs. And it's a really fantastic program. And then most Rotary districts have a program called RILA, and it could be for middle school or for high school or for young adults. It stands for Rotary Youth Leadership Awards, and it's usually a camp setting. So anywhere from just like a weekend to like an entire week of content. So wherever you are in the world, if you're asking a club, you should ask about their youth exchange program or about RILA, because they'll have those in addition to Interact. That is something that you'll find anywhere you go.
And right now, the social media pages of our clubs throughout District 7815 are showing them at the airport welcoming in their exchange students for the year. So it is really, really exciting. And we also have a program here in Canada called Y2Y, Youth to Youth. And it is a program, I think, like 4 days or so. And Indigenous youth plan the program and deliver the program to non-Indigenous youth. And we were hoping to have a speaker in the summer around that and weren't able to finally get it nailed down. But we hopefully during this year, we'll have that person come and speak to us also.
I was just going to say, one of the big things that I do at our school is a mentorship program. And that was one of the reasons I wanted something so easy like this, because as the other thing, the way we learn best is when we teach it to somebody else. So for our children, our youth that, let's say, need to learn this stuff because they missed that opportunity younger, them working with a younger child as they're teaching it to younger children, they then are rewiring and learning this self-talk for themselves as well. So that's where you could really do a big bridging program, and anybody at any age could do this. This is making, really complicated abstract stuff really easy for anybody to teach it. So that's where I really see it as a mentorship program as well. And Angela, what a gift that you ended up popping in on this call with your background and expertise as well. So
Well,
meant to
Kathy
be.
told me, she's like, you got to be here this day. You guys. I was like, I'll do it. I'll be there.
Awesome.
Thank you so much. And I'm going to wonder if you would mind if we take a picture tonight. Just keep smiling.
I took a couple, Kathy.
Oh, good. Thank you so much. If you would send that to me, that would be great.
Yes, if I think I have your email. Otherwise, I'll send it to Tammy, who can send it to you.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Welcome.
Awesome. Thank you.
Off we go. Thank you so much for coming. It's been a wonderful evening. I just wish we could have a retreat weekend together, but because we have so many ideas and expertise and experiences here, and when we all get together and collaborate, we can do great things. Thank you for coming. And I'm going to ask you to say goodnight to us now, but come again anytime. We're always here. And just look us up on Facebook, Gamechangers Atlantic Rotary, and see what we're about. And if you're interested, drop in and visit us.